Corporate tax offshoring is more or less the shifting of income by U.S. corporations to foreign jurisdictions, in so that it's beyond the jurisdiction of the IRS. The United States government has a habit of spending more money than it collects. So in order to come up with that shortfall, you either have to borrow the money or raise taxes. And in our situation, we have what we call base erosion, less amounts of income that's subject to our tax jurisdiction to collect tax on. So the only option under those circumstances is to borrow more. When I talk about deferral of income taxes, that's the name of the game in tax planning. I get the use of the money today instead of paying tax to the government. So if I'm taxed at 35 cents on every dollar, if I can delay paying tax, I get use of that 35 cents on every dollar today, next year, the year after, unless and until I pay tax on that. And in the international context, bringing it back stateside is when we pay tax on it. That's why I'm keeping stuff offshore for as long as I can. And I can invest it, I can do whatever I want with it, so long as it's out of the reach of the U.S. jurisdiction. It's working for me, not working for the U.S. Treasury. In 2004, Congress passed the American Jobs Creation Act in an attempt to give businesses breaks and so that they can hire more Americans, more people stateside. One of the tools Congress gave those corporations was the ability to repatriate foreign income back to the United States at a cut tax rate. Highest tax rate would be 35%. Under this act, it cut it down to about between 5 and 6%. Most studies indicate that the majority of companies repatriated income did not deploy those cash repatriations in a way that would create jobs, rather did things like pay dividends, offer golden parachutes, different payouts to executives, things like that. That's not across the board, but there was no enforcement mechanism that penalized companies that did that, so they just did whatever they wanted to with the money. I think indirectly, you can look at some of these taxpayers that are shifting income overseas and not paying tax on it as freeloaders, right? Someone's footing the bill. And it's either what someone like you is paying on their 1040 every year, or whatever we borrow to cover the shortfall, future generations to pay for. Now there's other components to that. Maybe we shouldn't spend so much. That's fair. But right now we are spending it. Someone's got to pay for it either now or tomorrow. And if I'm parking stuff offshores, I know I'm not paying it now. Maybe not tomorrow either.